Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Peter James, and you're welcome to this webinar. Today's webinar is focused on the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program at the University of Edinburgh. Like I always said, we are so privileged on this platform to have amazing scholars volunteer their times and their resources to mentor us on this process. And today we have another amazing personality with us today who will be guiding us on the step-by-step application process on how to apply for this scholarship. All right, today we have an amazing scholar with us, and he will be taking us on the step-by-step application process on how to apply for this scholarship. He'll be guiding us on the essays, and in fact, he'll be giving us the overview of everything that pertains to this scholarship. All right, without plenty talk, please, let me hand over the mic to our scholar, Solomon Nduchegwo. Pardon me if I don't pronounce that name correctly. You're welcome. Over to you, scholar. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this with us. We are so grateful. You're welcome, sir. Over to you, scholar.
Okay, thank you so much. You pronounce my name very well. A lot of persons find it hard to pronounce that name. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone joining us from across Africa. I don't know if you can hear me. Greetings from cold Edinburgh. It's pretty cold over here. So, my name is Solomon Nduchegwo, and I'm a Mastercard Foundation Scholar at the University of Edinburgh. So I was privileged to win 5 scholarships this year, but today I will be discussing about the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship Program at the University of Edinburgh. So perhaps maybe in future sessions we can explore other scholarships I was awarded, so you can as well too. So our session today will cover the application process in detail and the insight into the 4 essays. So before we proceed, I would actually like to make a quick disclaimer. Everything I'm going to say today is of my own view, and it does not represent the views of the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship at the University of Edinburgh. So without further ado, let's dive into the business of today. So before we start with the essay questions, let me give you guys some icing on the cake before the full cake itself. We will start by understanding the application selection criteria, right? So this will help us in the essay writing and how we can structure our responses. The truth of the matter is many people tend to overlook these aspects, but the truth is that once you understand the selection criteria, you have already made the process 50% easier for yourself. So in the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program at Edinburgh, they have 5 selection criteria. So the first one is your academic merit. So I won't dwell much on this, but if you have a 2-1, we are good to go. You don't necessarily need to have a first class before you can apply. So if you're on 3.5 over 5.0, we are good to go. And also, they will check out for your track record as a transformative leader and your service within your community. Also, they want to just talk about or know more about your leadership skills, and I won't go into details about this because we have an essay that talked about the leadership aspect of it. And the third one is talking about quality of application in line with the program's theme of climate justice. So please remember the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship Program at Edinburgh is focused on climate justice and sustainability. So when writing your essays, ensure that you are addressing these key areas, which is the climate justice and sustainability. So I know that many people struggle to connect their essays to climate justice. So what I would recommend is that if your essays don't fit into climate justice theme, then focus more on the sustainability aspect instead. So I will list a little bit of climate justice and sustainability aspects you can focus on. So we have the social equity. So when you talk about social equity, it deals with the addressing how climate change unjustly affects disadvantaged community. And a whole lot of us understand that Africa and Nigeria also, we are disadvantaged community because why? We are still developing. And also you can focus in the aspect of the climate justice and human rights. So this one talks about efforts to combat climate change, and at the same time, you don't violate human rights, but instead you empower what? Communities. And the one most of our essays will likely be focused on for people that are going to talk about climate justice, it's just transition. So this focus on creating a path to sustainable development. So that protects, I think, jobs, livelihoods, while transitioning from high carbon to a low carbon economy. I've not started talking about the essays. I'm just trying to make us to understand how we can structure all these essays by understanding our selection criteria, because this is the rubric which they will use to select people that they will invite for interview. So in the aspect of the sustainability, for people that will be applying for environmental sustainability, so you can focus more on the environmental sustainability aspects. So that talks about managing natural resources, reducing pollution, as well as ensuring biodiversity. So the next criteria is potential impact on the development of applicants' home country, right? So I won't go into details about this. This is talking about your future career essays. So we have part of the essays that talks about that. So during the review process, I will give you guys practical essay examples that you can follow the structure to structure your own essay. And the last one is applicants who have faced significant barriers to education. So they gave us a whole lot of Q, that is social, financial, personal, health related, depending on the one that is applicable to you. Depending on the one that is applicable to you. So let's enter into the essay session. I'm trying to be fast to check if we can have all this within 1 hour. So the first essay is talking about what experiences have shaped who you are. If you are selected to be Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program, what qualities learned from your experiences would you bring to our community? You may wish to consider adding information on how you meet the key selection criteria for the program, particularly in relation to how you have faced significant barriers to your education. They now gave another hint for you. So they told you the kind of people they are expecting application from. So specifically, they are expecting application from women. And the truth of the matter is, in this our cohorts, we have 75% women and 25% men. So as a guy already in this application, you are fighting, you have the greater fight to do, because ladies have maybe 50% chances than you as a guy, because we have 75% guys, 25%, 75% women, 25% guys. So they're not also focused on people with disabilities. I know during the at the group, a whole lot of persons are trying to create a disability that they don't have. What I would advise you to do is don't create what you don't have. There are ways you can communicate without putting in disability in your essays. So let's enter into the essays. So I want you to understand, before you enter into this essay, they are asking you 2 questions in one. So we will address each of these questions separately. So the first question is, what experiences have shaped who you are today? So in this first part, they want to understand the unique experiences, the challenges that have shaped you as an individual. So to me, this is your opportunity to highlight your resilience as an individual, how you overcame adversity to get to your current level. So to start with this essay, you will have to identify, first of all, the major challenges that you faced. So these challenges can come in different forms. A lot of persons face financial challenges. A lot of persons face health challenge, social challenge. Find the one that fits into your essays. Some person might even face all these three. And if you know how to manage your words, you can put in the three in your essay. So if we are talking about financial challenges, you will have to describe, or you have to, this is talking about where you have to describe your family financial situation in a way that that will help the person assessing your essay to understand your financial struggle while growing up. So I will give you an instance. For instance, now, if I'm writing this kind of essay and I want to focus on the financial aspect of it, I will draft my essay in this way. I will first of all tell them, coming from a family that earned less than $50 per month, it was difficult to afford basic needs of life, let alone educational expenses. Many a times I had to choose between attending school and contributing financially to my family. I have created what? The baseline where I will work more on. That baseline is in the financial aspects. If you are focusing on health challenges and disabilities, talk about those health issues that you find irrelevant, but to me, they are relevant. On the group, I said I had eye defect that require me to always be on glasses every time. I tag that as my own disability, and that is the definition of a disability. Disability, it's on its own, is those situations that can make you perform normal like other persons. So if other persons can see clearly without the aid of a glasses, why me as a person, for me to see clearly, I will have to make use of the glasses. That means I am not complete. That means I'm disabled. If you can find the connections, if you have a long-time illness, for instance, people that have asthma, you can put it. You are selling yourself so that they can give you the opportunity to attend the interview, because the first step is getting to the interview stage. And the first step is drafting this essay. So after the health challenge, you can focus on also social issues. For you to focus on these social issues, you will have to ask yourself some questions. For instance, are there any social issues that I have faced as an individual? So this can come from lack of access to clean water, maybe violence, maybe discrimination. All this, maybe they change your perspective as an individual. So if I'm coming from the social view and I'm drafting this essay, and from someone that is from the southern part of Nigeria, where crude oil exploration it's at its peak, how I will structure this essay is I will talk about growing up in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria, where crude oil spills frequently polluted our water supply. I saw firsthand the struggle of my community in accessing clean water. This experience sparked my passion for environmental justice. I have created a first impression of the kind of essay I want to talk about. So after setting this background, what you have to do is now you have to emphasize on how these struggles did not prevent you from achieving your goal. It might be some persons, there are some struggles that limit them. They did not go to school. But you, after passing all this struggle, you were still able to attend university. So it's a plus for you. So if, for instance, you are focusing your essay in the financial issues, you can start talking about, maybe based on the responses I've given you guys, you can follow it up by saying, despite the financial difficulties I faced, I managed to combine part-time jobs with my studies, which helped me to overcome the financial struggles, as well as graduated with a first-class degree in, maybe me, I graduated from microbiology, maybe microbiology, environmental science, chemical engineering, any course at all. Now you are building your essays little by little. If it's in the health issue we are focusing on, you can also talk about how those health challenges motivated you to become the person you are, probably to become an advocate for others facing similar challenges, which probably led you to establish maybe student support group in your university, or even an NGO that supports people that have similar health issues you said initially. So when you set this pace, you now go ahead to discuss the impacts of, maybe probably, if it's someone that is talking about the created NGO to support people that are facing similar challenge that they face when they were growing up, you can now then talk about the impact of your work on others. So, for instance, you can talk about if it's someone that's established an NGO, you can talk about, through your environmental advocacy NGO, you have helped educate 500 families on the importance of proper waste disposal and sustainable practices. This experience has taught you about resilience, empathy, and the value of fighting for environmental justice, which is why you are committed to addressing sustainable development in Africa. Still remember, like I said earlier on, we are still in the number one essay, which have 2 questions. So after setting this pace for the first question, you will now have to go. I don't know. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Okay. So after setting the pace for the first questions, and you've answered, for the first question, and you've answered the first question, you transition yourself to the second question, which talks about if you were selected to be Mastercard Foundation Scholar, what quality will you bring based on your own experience? So the second part focuses more on your professional skills and how you have applied them, and as well as what unique value you can bring to the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program at the University of Edinburgh. So to me, this is also your opportunity to show how your experience aligns with the program's focus on climate justice and sustainability. So at every particular question they gave you, they are giving you opportunity to sell yourself. These questions are a little bit different, but not in totality from what we had during our own time. But when you're answering them, you will see that they are the same. When I was going through those questions to develop something which I will use to give illustration for you people, I came to realize that there is no difference. They just merged some questions from our own time to make it to 4. During our own time, it was 6, but now it's 4. So if you're answering this second one, you have to identify the core skills that you have developed through your own work. These skills, to me, it can range from different angles. You have developed leadership skills. Maybe you have developed project management skills, where you maybe probably during your work, you oversaw projects. Maybe those projects relate to environmental management, girls' child education, or even global development issues. Or you've developed the skill of climate advocacy. or even the least all of us can know about communication skills. All these things are skills that very relevant in the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program. So when putting this into your essay, there is a way you have to structure it. For instance, now, if I'm to talk about all these skills which I have learned from my project and I want to bring them into the Mastercard Foundations Program, how I will start it is through my role probably as a project manager, or maybe as an educator, or maybe as an environmental coordinator. I have developed strong project management and leadership skills, particularly in the areas of environmental management and compliance. So you've set the pace for yourself. They've seen, oh, Solomon is bringing project management and leadership skills to Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program at the University of Edinburgh. This is fantastic. But don't just stop there. So moving to the next point, you will have to connect these skills to specific activities within the Mastercard Scholars Program. You can highlight to me how you plan to use those skills to improve on those activities already established in the Mastercard program. For instance, you can focus on them because, you know, if you go to the website, they will tell you they have what we call climate leadership program. So let me give you guys a little bit of what the climate leadership program talks about. So the climate leadership program is a monthly program and is for scholars already studying here to build your climate leadership skills. And they put you in different groups where you develop projects, and they give you seed funding to ensure that that project, you develop it to a level of application of it. I'm giving you this overview so that it will help you when you are structuring your essays. If you want to make reference to the climate leadership program, you can make reference to it. So, or if you don't want to make reference to climate leadership program as the avenue that you can use to bring your own skills, you can talk about even you yourself as a person organizing programs for the Mastercard scholars. So for example, let me give you an essay structure that fits into everything I've said a little bit in this second part of the question. So I can start probably, and also before I go ahead, please don't think maybe the structures I'm giving you, you will go and write it. If everyone keep writing those structures, believe me, you are not getting to the interview because it will not make sense. Everyone is writing the same story. I just developed this to help you understand how you can structure your essays. So I can start by saying, having worked on several environmental sustainability projects in Nigeria, I can bring a unique perspective on the challenges of implementing climate justice in developing countries. During group activities in the Mastercard Foundation Climate Leadership Program, I will share my insights on overcoming barriers to environmental advocacy and engaging marginalized communities in sustainable practices. Through this engagement, I aim to strengthen our collaborative commitment to driving positive change in Africa and building networks that extend beyond the scholars program's limits. I'm seeing 9 minutes remaining. I thought this is up to 1 hour.
Yes, no problem. We can always join using the same link in case if we get disconnected, we can still join using the same link. Just continue, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know, are we clear with how we can structure our responses in the essay 1?
The first one is very clear, but the second part of what you
if you have,
yeah.
If you have questions, okay, the first part is clear. The second part is not clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so you can throw more light on it. You can throw more light on it so that we'll get it.
Okay. The second part, they are asking you, see the question. I'm trying to open the question. If you were selected to be a Mastercard Foundation Scholar, what quality are you bringing into the program? So in summary, what I said is identify those kind of work you've done, those kind of projects you've done. What are the skills that you've developed from those projects? The skills that you've developed from those projects can be leadership skills, like I mentioned earlier on. It can also be climate advocacy skills. It can be communication skills, a whole lot of skills that you can develop from those things. So after identifying all these skills for yourself, you now then move ahead to link it up to the Mastercard program. And I gave you guys instance on how you can link it up, where I made mention about the climate leadership program. So the climate leadership program, like I said, is done monthly in this Edinburgh. And they put scholars in groups, tell them, or maybe they develop a project they want to do. They give them some certain amount of funds on that project, and they follow them through to the actualization of that project. Now, bring it back to yourself as an individual. What kind of skill, I'm using this climate leadership as an example. What kind of skills can you bring to the climate leadership program that will help to harness the program to its full potential? As a person, you can decide to say you will bring communication skills. You now then talk about maybe during your project that you were doing in Nigeria or maybe in Ghana, you were able to gain these project management skills or these skills on this kind of program. And you believe once you become a Mastercard Foundation Scholar, you are bringing this communication skill into the climate leadership program. Through this skill, you will help probably your cohorts to understand this and that will help us to actualize our goal in the project that will be given. I know in the website, you guys were not giving details about what the climate leadership program means. So that was why I gave you guys a little bit detailed about it, so that if you are structuring your essay, it aligns well with it. I don't know if it's making sense. Sorry.
Yes, sir. Very well. Please go ahead.
Okay. So if what we do, we'll also make out a little bit of time to address questions. So if you also have questions that you're not clear about in this essay one, I'm trying to rush.
Yeah.
Write it down during the question and answer. We'll address it also. So the second essay is talking about future goals and study. So they are saying, we would like to learn more about your interest in further academic study. Please explain how the degree program you have chosen to study here relates to your future goals. What specifically about this degree program will be useful to you? This essay is popular. A whole lot of us, if you've been into the scholarship journey for quite a long time, you will know that this is just asking you about your degree program and your career goal together. So before you begin to write this particular essay, this is my structure, and I am being clear with everyone on this call, because at least I'll be so happy if I see up to, even if it's 5 persons from this group getting the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship Program next year. So what I did is what I will tell you. So before you begin writing this essay, you should first of all conduct thorough research on the specific career field that you want to focus on. So, sorry, I love using environmental aspect, because the scholarship I want is in the environmental sustainability. So this is where I'm proficient in, but I can still give other examples, but I love using this so that I will be very clear in my examples. So for instance, if we are focusing on waste management, narrow it down to a particular aspect, like solid waste or even wastewater treatment, or you can even go as far as talking about circular economy approaches in waste management. So if you are focusing on wastewater treatment now, as I've said, Look for papers detailing different treatment methods, the challenges of implementing them, and even the different successful case studies of the application of these methods. Hello?
I think we all logged out. I think we all logged out. So we're not, maybe some of us are not following. I don't know if I was the only one.
Oh God.
We are following. We're following.
You are the only one that logged out.
Yeah.
Can I go ahead?
Please go ahead. In the next 2 minutes, we'll still use the same link to join back. Please go ahead, please.
Okay. So I was trying to say, if you are focusing on a particular area that you want to talk about in your essay, so look for papers, different papers that talks in detail about the issue, because what a lot of persons think is they can use their own thinking about an issue to manufacture maybe a statement problem and a solution. No, that is why even if you are writing your thesis for your master's or your PhD, you will see people talking about other people's work, referencing their work, because you are building upon existing research. Even professors do the same. So why will you be writing scholarship essay? You don't review problems and probably solutions in those research documents. This is the first step you have to do if you want to start answering essay number 2 to the last question, to the last question being asked. So when I was applying for my scholarship, I reviewed over 20 research papers. So they focused on wastewater treatment through the application of constructed wetlands. So this review, it helped me to understand the areas that the issue is, and also it's helped me to shape my proposed solutions. I was able to understand, oh, this is the kind of solution that I have to talk about in my future career goals. I did not manufacture my solution. My solution came from understanding the baseline information and the solution proposed in different research documents. And I now sat myself down to filter out little things that are not needed, and I refine them to provide, this is my solution of the problem I've identified. So what I will tell you to do is to at least review. Some person might not have that fast pace that I have in reviewing research papers, but at least review 5 research papers on your choosing topic. If your topic is in the development field, in education, in girls' child, in anything, review papers at least 5 so that you understand the issue. So this will make you to become vast in the existing problem, and also for you to understand them recent development. Because okay, also another thing to do is for you to go through the course web page. If you are going for Africa and international development, go to the course web page. Understand in details. I'm not talking about just skimming through, but what I'm talking about is understanding the modules and some of the professors and doctors' research areas. Because the truth is, most of your essay, Mastercard do their bit, they send it to the department to review, because Mastercard guys, this is not their field. So they have professors that will review your essays, and you should be talking the same language with them. There is this course I'm doing now. It's focused more on waste management, specifically solid waste management and wastewater management. And I explicitly stated this in my essays during my application, because what I reviewed those models, I understood what those models we are talking about, and I related my goals to it. So for each of these models, so what you have to do is identify the key learnings and think about how these models can support your proposed study and your proposed solutions. Because still remember, we are in the question number 2 that is talking about future career goals and study and this. So I'm trying to set the pace. So I'm trying to make you guys to understand the baseline before I can give you a little bit of example of a structure that I've developed for this meeting. So, and I also believe you guys are writing some things down.
Yes, sir.
So, and also, like I said earlier on, study also professors' research interests. So, if a professor is working on, for instance, innovative wastewater management techniques, mention their work and explain how you could collaborate with them to address some of the challenges that you've identified in your essay. And thirdly, make sure you make your essay credible by including relevant statistics. Like I said earlier on, don't just quote. Don't just say, for instance, in Nigeria, over 80% of persons are suffering from health issues. This, that. How will I know? You need to tell me who said that stuff, what study was carried out for you to come up with that amount of figure to quote it confidently. This is how I do write my essays, so that both it will make sense both in academic setting and even any other person reading it. They will know that this person have the baseline information and is rooted in the challenges. So, for instance, if you are discussing the impact of inadequate wastewater treatment, let me give you this sample that I just created for this essay. So, according to the United Nations 2020, over 70% of wastewater in sub-Saharan Africa is discharged untreated into the environment, thereby leading to several water pollution and public health issues. This lack of effective wastewater management has been a persistent challenge in my home region of the Niger Delta region, where communities suffer waterborne diseases. I have set the pace. I gave them data and I brought it back down to my region, Niger Delta. This is what they want you to do. And also, when you are trying to also propose your solution, a lot of persons say, I will address the whole issue in Nigeria. Even government cannot address the issue in Nigeria. Talk more of you as an individual. So what you have to do is focus your solution to a particular region. When I was writing my essay was focused to a particular region, Niger Delta, and specifically in the oil and gas industry, wastewater production, a whole lot of environmental issues from the oil and gas industry. I focused on a particular place and I build on all those areas that I focused on. So make sure also that you outline your career goals clearly. You don't, I know a whole lot of persons, if they are writing chaplain essay, they will talk about my long-term career goal, my short-term career. You don't necessarily need to split your career goals into those things. But what I'll tell you is to ensure that they are specific. They are just SMART. I know SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So make sure they are this. But you mustn't necessarily say, in my long-term career plan, no. But make sure they are specific and detailed enough to address what you've already said. So for instance, if I'm to write a career plan that aligns to what we are talking about, let me give you my starting point after setting the pace. I will say, in the next 5 years, I aim to establish a social enterprise that applies circular economic principle to wastewater management in rural Nigerian communities, thereby reducing untreated wastewater by 30% and building upon all the issues I have talked about. So I don't know. I think we'll have to go over to question number 3. We are running out of time. I was thinking this would be a 1-hour session. So do we have any issue with the essay number 2?
No. For me, no. I don't know if any other persons or something.
I think to me, the essay number 2 is quite okay. Seriously, I get a lot of things that I missed in my previous.
Let's move
Very
on.
clear.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead. So
Hello, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, excuse me. Are we going to have the recorded version of this so that you can read? Because some of, like me, I have missed some of your introductions and all that. Can we have the recorded version after the webinar?
Yes, the recorded version will be shared later in the group. We'll share the link to the group after that.
Okay, all right.
Edited and
okay, all right. Thank you.
Scholar, please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. So essay number 3 is talking about leadership and service. So this is the way our own essay came. There was no changing about it. It's just the same, reflecting on your service to the community and track record as a transformative leader. Tell us about one current idea or project you are working on, which clearly demonstrates this. So one good thing about you guys' time is they gave you guys 400 words. I think our time 250, if I'm very correct. I think ours is 250. So you have a whole lot of space to talk about detail, what's it called? Detail information about your leadership skills. So when writing an essay to me about leadership skills, what you have to do is just focus on showcasing those concrete examples where you have successfully led a project or a team. So to me, the key here is to demonstrate your ability to identify a problem as well as implement a solution. Some person, you will say, use the STAR approach. But when I'm writing my essays, I write my essays by just identifying the problem, which is situation, the STAR approach, and just following. I don't necessarily follow the process of the STAR approach, but it's a good way also to answer this question. So, for instance, if I'm to start this question, what I will first of all do is set the pace for my problem, like I did in other essay. They need to understand the baseline problem before you can even talk about what you as a person did. So I can start by saying, according to the National Bureau of Statistics 2020, Nigerian youth unemployment is a major problem, with over 60% of young adults lacking access to job opportunities. This has led to increased crime rates and social instability. Now, I have set a pace. I have told them an issue, and I've told them the consequences of that issue. Now, you will now have to highlight your leadership role and the actions you took to address the above issue. Someone is raising up their hand. Who is that? You can go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir. I don't know. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, go ahead. Can hear you.
Hello, can I be? All right, thank you. So I'm just talking about, I'm trying to reference a particular one that was done. Just like you mentioned, according to Nigeria MBA, that's November 26. Must we always reference institution? Can't we reference a work that was done by somebody, an author? Like you can say, like just Solomon et al. 2024, Solomon et al. Or Solomon 2020. I hope would that fly? Thank you.
Okay, that is a very nice question. You can reference anyone. But why a whole lot of us like, I don't know for other persons, I like using organizations because it's credible. They are, for instance, if I'm talking about United Nations in my essay, I'm not fabricating words. Someone can just type United Nations, a whole lot of things will pop out about what I'm talking about. But you can still reference someone's research, because what you are reviewing is actually someone's research that you're using to develop this. And inside those, their research, you will not then see them referencing even all those top organizations. So you can use someone's research to do those things. Yeah. So so you can start, like I was saying earlier on, you can start by describing that project and that you led to address the problem that you've already talked about. And excuse me, sorry. And can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, we can hear you. Please, can you drop your question in the chat box? We'll give opportunity to that at the end of the meeting, so we won't distract. Don't interrupt the meeting. Thank you.
So yeah, you have to focus on how you took the lead. It is not we, it is I, because what? We are checking your leadership skills. You also have to focus on how you organize resources, because as a leader, if resources are handed over you, how do you organize those resources? Those resources can range from things that you guys mobilize for your outreach program or initiative. Even humans can be resources, because we have the human aspect of the resources. So how do you manage people also? And how are you also able to motivate others? And finally, how you executed your plan. So make sure that those specific actions that you took, they are visualized, they are seeing it. Don't cover let your star shine. Don't cover yourself under the umbrella of someone else by saying we. Even if it's not what you did, finding a way to let them see what you as a person did that helped the whole project to become what it is. Even if it's, for instance, sorry, I'm trying to make fun of this, but even if you are in a program and what you did was to go out and probably buy refreshment for people doing the initiative. If you do not buy the refreshment, those people will burn out and they will collapse. The initiative will not go ahead, right? But it's not how will you as an individual tell them what you did by buying those things and how it impacted the project is where the work is. So for instance, if based on the problem that we've developed, we can now, if I'm talking about this from my own perspective, I can structure my essay this way. In response to the youth unemployment in Nigeria, I established a youth empowerment program that focused on skill acquisition and entrepreneurship training. As a project lead, I collaborated with local organizations to secure funding, develop a curriculum tailored to community needs, and recruited skilled professionals to train participants in digital skills, agriculture, and small business management. I've sold myself. As a project lead, this is what I did. So after that, you have to now then focus on showcasing the results. That's the impact of the leadership role that you took. Here, you will have to clearly articulate the outcomes of those leadership role. So this can come in form of you quantifying those impacts, maybe telling us the number of persons who benefited, as well as the lasting changes the project brought. So let me also give you an example, because I want us to understand, not just saying, but to understand how to address this. So you can talk about, through this program, over 150 youths gained practical skills, and 35 of the participants have since started their own small businesses, thereby reducing youth unemployment in the area by 15% within a year. The program also received recognition from the local government as the model for youth development initiatives. You've practically, in a nutshell, told them a problem, told them your leadership role, and told them the result of what your leadership role achieved. And finally, there is one thing I keep doing. It's not necessarily that you will have to do this, but I keep doing it whenever I'm writing any essay that is talking about leadership skills. And what is that is the reflections, what quality that experience brought to me. So those qualities can include maybe the leadership role that I involve myself in, help me to understand more about decision making, maybe team building, maybe effective communication, even problem solving skills. That role helped me to understand it. So if I'm to include this kind of stuff in my essay, I can probably maybe start by saying this experience strengthened my ability to lead diverse teams, manage resources effectively, and inspire others to work towards a common goal, even in a challenging circumstances. So I have told them this is what this role provided me with. And by making this known, it have made them to see, wow, I even have more potential apart from what I've told them. I have these skills that I can bring even to the Mastercard Scholars Program. Are you seeing it? So the last one before we go into our Q&A. I don't know if we are following. Sorry, I don't want it to be.
We are following. Please, this last part, please just take your time and help us do it step by step, because most of us are not field is not climate related. We are kind of coming from the field. So just help us tackle this question very well. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so this question is practically talking about the same thing, but it's quite different from not that different, but they restructure the question than the way they gave it to us. As I can't assess our own question, but it's a little bit different, but it's talking about the same thing. So I will be short, but I know this question will give a whole lot of persons issues. So I created a sample also for it. I was like, I won't create a sample because it's talking about normal leadership skills, and we've explained a leadership skill, how to write a leadership essay in the essay number 3. But I developed this also to help us to see it from another perspective. So for you to write this essay, you have to start by painting a clear picture of the climate change challenges your community faces. I know some of us here, we are not from the climate-oriented field, but look at the climate issue. Like when I started this, I made mention about if you cannot link your essay to climate change, why not focus on sustainability? Because in the Scholars Program, in their website, their focus is on climate change and sustainability issues. So you must not necessarily, these two areas of interest, the difference between them is just a thin line. Whenever I'm talking about, for instance, let me focus on guys that are going to be applying for African international development. If I'm talking about things from the development sector, is indirectly addressing climate change issue. Someone from the development might decide to talk about things in education. Education affects climate change. When people are ignorant about an issue, they tend to go ahead to destroy the environment. For instance, and I love using my country because I'm a proud Nigerian. For instance, maybe in Nigeria, for example, we might have maybe policymakers or politicians or governors or most of their commissioners, and they don't really understand the baseline information about why or the negative impact of cutting down of trees. They will go ahead and be cutting down trees. thereby increasing greenhouse gas emission, right? I'm trying to set a pace because you guys are just, as you said, the pace. So I'm trying to put a picture for those guys in that are not in the fully climate change field to understand. So they go ahead to cut those trees. So as those guys are cutting those trees, it's an issue. So what will I do as someone applying for African international development? I want to use through education to bridge the gap, the huge gap between climate change approaches and maybe probably deforestation in Nigeria. So you can start by saying you want to carry out a whole lot of educative or educational initiative. So I will advise you to identify one or two major issues. You can focus on water pollution. You can focus on deforestation. You can focus on drought. But make sure you support each of these points with clear evidence. And also make sure to use statistics. I love using statistics and references to highlight the severity of those problems. And I will give you an instance if you want to set up or set the pace for this your essay. So you can start by saying, according to the United Nations Environmental Project 2021, over 60% of the local rivers and streams in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria are contaminated by oil spills and industrial waste, making them unsafe for both human consumption and aquatic life. Now, I added aquatic life, but someone might see it and say it's aquatic life, it's irrelevant, it's just, but it talks a whole lot about biodiversity, which is also an issue for climate change, as well as for sustainability. As a result of these spills and wastes, thousands of families lack access to clean water, thereby leading to widespread health problems such as cholera and waterborne diseases. The contaminated water has also devastated local fisheries, a key source of livelihood, thus pushing many families into poverty. You can see how I set the stage. Now you now have to go into details. Shift the focus to the actions that you've taken to combat this climate change impacts. Like I said earlier on, you can choose a specific project you led and provide details on your role. Remember, this question is still talking about leadership, but leadership in driving climate change issues. So now, if I'm to structure my own leadership aspect of this, I can do it this way with statistics. To tackle this issue, I spearheaded a community-based water protection project called Clean Rivers Initiative. As the project leader, I organized a series of cleanup exercises along the river banks and initiated a water quality monitoring program to track pollution levels. The project involved over 50 volunteers from the community and local schools. We conducted monthly cleanup events, removing over 1.5 tons of waste from the river in 6 months. Additionally, I partnered with environmental scientists to train community members on how to test water samples and identify pollution sources. The Clean River Initiative was recognized by the local government, which awarded us a small grant to expand our project and implement a community-led waste management system. I'm done answering the question. I try as much as possible to squeeze in a whole lot into this, but what I will tell you is, like I said earlier on, don't use these examples. The purpose of me giving these examples is to set the pace for us to understand how we can structure our essays and responses. So I think I have, to my own understanding, done justice to It's a question. So I'll hand over to you and I'll be ready for any question from people.
Thank you very much, Scholar. Hamzat, Mohammed will help us to take some of the questions. And after that, if you have a personal question you want to ask, you then raise up your hand and opportunity will be given to you to ask your question. But now over to you, Hamzat. What are the questions you have with us for us?
Thank you so much, Mr. Solo, for this wonderful presentation and highlight how to address our AC questions and how to answer it. The first question we have is they are asking about, must your leadership essay align with the previous essay you have written, like question 1 and 2? So this one, they are just asking like, your leadership essay, must it align? Like maybe you are applying for food security. Must your essay question, must your leadership essay relate to food security, or you can cite example of the leadership that you have done in order to aside that particular which you are interested in. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we are with you.
Yes.
Okay. For you to add, one thing I keep telling people is have a progressive essay, and your essay should be concise and specific. So I can see the question. You say, must your leadership essay align with the previous essays you have written, like question 1 and 2? Question 1 and 2 is talking about yourself. Is setting the pace for you, like they want to know about you. For instance, you came to an interview, someone asks you, can you tell me about yourself? Tell them about yourself. That's what you're talking about. They've not started asking you about your leadership essay. And when you now start talking about your leadership essays and every other questions that is being asked, make sure all the examples you are giving relate to the course you are going to study. Sorry, I'm saying this way. It creates an impression that the person we are bringing is someone that is already grounded in the career they are looking out to pursue as a master's degree. You cannot be talking about be going to pursue MSc food security, right? And you start talking about maybe issue in which sector will I focus on? Maybe in the oil and gas sector. It doesn't necessarily make sense. But if someone that is in the environmental sector going for environmental sustainability or environmental development, talking about issue from the oil and gas sector, it makes sense to me. I don't know if I've answered the question. So the question is, be progressive. If you're answering those questions, look at it as a way that you are taking someone through a journey. And the first journey, you started by asking about yourself. So you told the person about your family history, the issue about your family and all those things, and how you've been able to manage yourself to get to the level that you are. Now you take the person through another journey. But however, this is my leadership experience and my leadership skills and how I have built myself as a transformative leader. From there, you go ahead and tell the person, this is my career goal based on things that I have done. And I believe with this career goal, you should be able to sponsor my education, because these people are spending money. They are spending, only your tuition is nothing less. My tuition is up to 70 million or so based on the Nigerian exchange rate. So they are investing heavily on you. So you will have to, 34,000 pounds is not something someone should just come and throw just only on your stipend, on your what's it called them, on your tuition fee. It's not something someone should just, they need to be convinced. So you need to convince them. So be progressive in your essays. That's what I'll have to tell you.
Next, Hamzat.
Okay, the next question is, when answering question 3, can we put a link to our work in our community? Like if you have posted some of the work we have done on social media like LinkedIn or Facebook, can we copy the link of that particular post and attach it and paste it as a hyperlink to our essay when answering as the evidence of the work that we have done?
Well, from my own perspective, I do not put any link to anything, because I'm not discouraging you. If you've done a whole lot of work and you want them to see your work, you can put a link. But imagine people reviewing, as of last year, 7,000 plus applied. Will they have that time to click each of everyone having link to check their work? I don't think they will. So while we're God, who is calling me? I'm sorry. I received a call, sorry. So can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. What? Oh, stop calling me now. So what I would advise you to do, be convincing enough. Convince these people that even without you seeing my evidence of the work I've done, I can still prove to you that I'm good. When someone see your writing, they will know if you know what you're writing or if you don't know what you're writing. That's just the truth. But if you also feel you want to put your link just take one word, right? You can put your link. It doesn't necessarily harm you. But if to me, I did not use the link, so I don't see any need for using link. But if you are convinced that the link will help them prove it will help you to prove to them that you are good, go ahead and put it.
I'm sorry, next, last question.
Okay, the last question is, why if my leadership skills are tied around climate change project, how do I tackle essay number 3 and 4 without repeating myself?
Okay, how you tackle essay number? When I was answering, I love this. The person that is asking this is knows what they are doing. I had a similar challenge because I looked at the scholarship focus. The scholarship focus is on climate change and sustainability, and I made sure that all my essays are related to climate change and sustainability. And the moment I got to the climate leadership, because I've talked about leadership, transformative leadership, I got to the climate leadership essay. I was like, what should I write again? I've told you guys about my leadership experience. Now, what again? My leadership experience is relating to a particular area. So what did I do? I had to tell another story. That's the only way to go over this. If you've done a whole lot of work, then tell different stories. You might tell a story about in this sector, this. The next one, you tell different story about leadership skills and where you've led people. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Scholar. We have some persons here. I will first give the chance to Chima, then John. So Chima, over to you. Unmute and ask your question. And mind you, in the next 4 minutes, we will still have to use the same link, so he will be able to address our specific questions. In case we got logged out, please let's use the same link. We are really sorry for this. Okay, Chima, over to you, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Solomon Nduchegwo. Thank you, potential scholars. I want to ask that across the essays, most especially from essay number 2 downwards, you kind of used an approach of setting the pace for ourselves using a problem statement. If we use that on essay 2, essay 3, and essay 4, how do we go about it without repeating the same problem statement? Like, for example, let's say food security. You brought out a problem, quoting credible sources from the UN. The problem statement you stated from essay number 2, and then you go to essay number 3 to set the pace for yourself again. You have to use a problem statement. How do we kind of tilt not to repeating a particular problem statement across these essays? That is number 1. Number 2, sir, is I have read about this much on their website, and I discovered that even the essay 1, they particularly kind of give preference to either female or people that are disabled, or from people that are underrepresented. So what about you? You are not any of these, but kind of you fill in the the qualification, you fill in the essays, you did everything. Like to you, you did everything. You are a round peg in a round hole, so to say. But how slim or how big is your chance to get in since you're not among the kind of people that are giving preference? These are my two questions. Thank you very much.
All right. I was actually expecting your last question. So the truth of the matter is they've told you what they want. And it now boils down to what you can do. What you can do in aspect of, do you fall into those groups? If you don't fall into those groups, then your essay is your selling point. But someone asked me this question how many days ago, and I will respond the way I responded to that person. And also, I think yesterday, I also had a call with someone, and this was also the response I gave to the person. What if maybe for instance, for guys and people writing the essay, and you don't have disability, right? And we have guys that have disability, and you that don't have any disability, your essay is top notch. Like, you did a fantastic job in your essay. And also the person with disability did a fantastic job with their essay. Who will they pick? They will pick the person that have the disability. But also, in a sense that the two, maybe you did a fantastic job in your essay, but no disability, why the other person with disability, but did not do a fantastic job, they will take you. So this is just a game of luck. It might happen maybe this time around. It might favor you, it might not. But what I used, I wear my glasses every time. You can even see the picture I used. I was wearing glasses. I use it as a selling point. Sell yourself. Anything you know you can use to sell yourself, use it and sell yourself. That's why when I started, I told you, read a whole lot of research documents. The good thing about that is it makes you have a whole lot of information on how to start your essays. It gives you baseline problem of different, for instance, I'm focusing on food security, and my focus on food security is on food wastage, right? Or food pollution, right? I will take research in those focus area. It will not then give me different problems that is contributing to that my area I'm focusing on. And it's from those problems you generate your own statement problem for each of the essays. So you check out each of the essays that you can talk very well about based on the essay question. So, like I said, minimum of read 5 papers relating to read 5 papers relating to that sector that you've chosen to to write your essays on. With that, you will have a whole lot of things to talk about. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes, thank you. John Paul, please ask your question. Unmute and ask your question. That's the last person. If you have questions, please signify. After John Paul, opportunity will be given to you. Over to you, John.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. My question to you, scholar, is with regards to question number 3. Question number 3, it states categorically one current idea. So how about, because I understand that the rubrics for Mastercard is quite different from other similar programs, maybe from Chevening, although they share some similarities. Now, when they are saying one current idea, doesn't mean that it has to be one. Because if, for example, Shivning says, or a program, another person say, tell us about a problem. It's one. Or tell us about your leadership skills. There's no, they didn't quantify how many examples you're expected to give. So with this now, I just wanted to, be very certain. Is it just one current idea that is welcome? Or you can, maybe to buttress further, maybe have two, in as much as you do not exhaust the 400 word count. So that's actually what I wanted to be very certain about. Thank you.
Okay, you misunderstood the question number 3. Let me read it out. They say, reflecting on your service to the community and track record as a transformative leader, tell us about one current idea. So in the sense, it doesn't mean like one current idea, like tell us about which idea maybe you have not even maybe put it to fruition. Like when we are having our leadership program, they talked about, I think, I can't remember the way they said it, but you can have an idea, but you've not executed it. You can write it in your essay. But I don't like that approach. So that was why they said one current idea or project you are working on. So it's better you leave that idea that is still in your head that you've not executed, because an idea that you've not executed cannot be very strong enough to tell us your leadership skills. But the ones that you've executed will have a whole lot of things for you to talk about, including the project phases and your results. But you cannot just be talking about something that you've not done and yet you're using it as an example for leadership. There are some persons, maybe they are good at writing, so they can follow that approach. But to me, I would advise you to focus on a project you've already done. I don't know if I'm clear, John Paul.
You're very clear. You're very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, actuality before potential.
So, Grace, your hands up.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Solomon, for this impactful session. So please, I have 2 questions. The first one is, for this Mastercard scholarship application, does it have to be volunteer experience or can it also be work experience? Then my second question is,
Come
can
again.
one share like different,
Come again. Does
it have to be a volunteering experience or a work experience, like paid work experience? Then the second question is, can one share like different experiences or it has to be streamlined to one experience? So for example, if I have an experience, let's say volunteering for girl child education, and maybe I have another experience in volunteering for maybe people living with disabilities, and I want to answer the essay questions, do I have to focus on one problem, then be able to write it in different way, answering the questions, or can I talk about different experiences?
Oh, God. Your question is clear, and if you want to answer those questions, to me, I will advise you to focus. You can use different approaches to answer those questions. You made mention about maybe one of your experiences focused on girls' child, while the other one is focused on disability. Are they talking about the same thing in your sector team? If they are talking about the same thing and they are answering the question, go ahead. For instance, in the question number 3 and 4, you can use totally different experience. Since it's addressing the issue of climate change and the other one is addressing the issue of leadership skills, you can go ahead. And in the aspect of your voluntary, you can use voluntary or paid. any experience is experience. You are imparting people. There are a whole lot of persons in the NGO sector, and what they are doing is voluntary, and they are using it to win scholarships. So nobody is counseling your voluntary experience. So far as that voluntary experience is having an impact in the community that you are working with, then you can go ahead with it.
That's the last question, I guess. We have exceeded our time.
Oh,
okay. We still have 4 minutes more. So I don't think
I'm dropping my LinkedIn profile, so you guys can just we can connect on LinkedIn, and probably any other what's it called again, help I can render. I will. And also lastly, before I hand over to you, sorry, Potential Scholars Forum, I will have to try my best to review essays, and I'm happy that we have few persons that are still here till this time, and I cannot review 17 persons' essays. That was why I was able to give detailed responses to those essays. So for those people that joined this this session up to this time, and we are 17.
Yeah.
Please help me and record the persons. I will try as much as possible to review just one of their essay and to give them, not just giving them constructive feedback, but I will review the essay and restructure it for them in a way that will be good. Just one. So I might decide to pick, maybe if it's your climate leadership essay, if it's your growing up essay, if it's your any essay, I will just decide to pick in between the 3 essays and do the review for you. This is my way of giving back to the community. And I believe also one of us in this forum, we also have we win scholarship, maybe Mastercard, Commonwealth, Chevron, and they will also pass on those things to other persons. So this is the way I will have to give back to people.
All right, thank you very much. Hamza, if you're on the call, can you help me screenshot the names? They are adding up. It is well. Thank you so much for this opportunity, because to get a scholar that will spend 1 hour plus 1 hour 30 minutes with us is really hard, and then you don't top it up by saying you're going to review some of our essays. We are just so happy and so glad to have you. Scholar, thank you very much for having us today. And personally, I've gained a lot. I don't know about others, but I've actually gained a lot. Thank you so much. And